Big win, and not necessarily game-breaking, season-breaking, ground-breaking, whatever you want to call it here, but a win nonetheless for the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight against the New York Rangers, and it's the big boys who get it done. Matthew Knies opens the scoring. Anthony Stolarz plays out of his mind. William Nylander steps up. Austin Matthews scores the OT winner. If you're a Leafs fan, you got to be feeling pretty good about yourselves after this one. Watching this Toronto Maple Leafs team find a way to get it done, find a way to get the win here tonight against the New York Rangers. We'll be breaking it all down in tonight's postgame show presentation of Bet365, and we're going to be joined by a very, very, very special guest who's probably going to be one of the more miserable people. We're going to try something different here on the show. I think it's the first time in Leafs Nation After Dark history that we're having somebody who is a fan of the other team. Now, I'm doing him a disservice by calling him just a fan of the other team. He's an NHL analyst, works over on Daily Faceoff, but at the end of the day, we know where his heart lies. He's a Rangers fan through and through. So, with that said, we're going to welcome to the show for the first time here on Leafs Nation After Dark, the man, the myth, the legend, Jonny Lazarus. Laz, how are you feeling tonight?
Am I allowed to drink wine on this show?
As long as it's not visibly wine. Does that make sense?
Not at all, but whatever.
I mean, we've done some pretty stupid stuff here.
Right,
people in the chat know we've done some pretty dumb stuff here, so it's okay. You can do whatever. I can move some things around. You're good.
Can I ask you a question to start, Zach?
Yeah, go ahead.
You said if you're a Leafs fan, you got to feel good about that win, but do you really feel good, or is it like, okay, we're playing a team that can't score, and that's the only reason why we won?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. Like, there was a lot of chances here tonight for the Rangers that they just don't capitalize on, obviously. Yeah. There's a couple that Stolarz makes some pretty, 5-alarm saves from basically in the slot or back door. I mean, you look at, there was 2 on Cooley that I could think of off the top of my head. Mm-hmm. There's one where it turns to Matt Rempe, rings it off Stolar's helmet, that actually ends up knocking his helmet off. And if that's anybody other than Rempe, that might be a goal. But I think... Well, it's reality.
Well, I mean, no one else can score anyway, so it could have been anybody.
That's fair. I think what I say, like when I'm talking about the fact that if you're a Leafs fan, you're happy with the win, is you're through the first 4 games leading up to this one here, the 5th game of the season for the Leafs. We've watched this team struggle to kind of come together as a cohesive unit, and tonight really did start to feel like you could see them gelling on each line and then through lines 1 to 4. Like, I think Scott Laughton going out before the season started really threw things into a bit of a tornado where it was like, okay, now you're pushing Domi to center, which is not at all where you want him to be. Nick Waugh's down to your 4th line center, and Nick Robertson is into a position where he might not even be in the lineup if Scott Laughton is healthy. So it kind of swings things around that way. Michelli didn't work on the first line. Cowan didn't play at the start. And now all of a sudden this game, I felt like you could kind of see the first line building the chemistry, second line building chemistry. So that's kind of more so where I'm happy. I don't really care through the beginning of the season as a Leafs fan, especially knowing how playoffs is what's most important. I don't really care about the wins, losses, what the actual end result score is. It's more so like, okay, we're seeing things pieced together, to answer the question.
But even with that, like, you guys get a fluky goal too. Like, you know what I mean? It was a weird game. I don't think it's a game where like...
No, it was a weird game.
Yeah, like the first period, the Rangers looked terrible. I think you guys were the better team by far. One thing that I noticed that you guys were doing well was like collapsing in the middle. The Rangers didn't really have many chances coming from the middle of the ice in the first period, maybe outside of like a bumper pass to Zibanejad. I think he might have had one. But that's a power play. It's a little bit different than 5-on-5. But Toronto, again, like, I don't know if they generated so many high quality chances throughout the game, right? Like I can think of maybe like 3 or 4 that stick out, not including the overtime winner. But yeah, I left that game thinking, wow, both teams just can't score. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
The goalies played good. Like, I'll credit Igor obviously and Stolarz, but like I don't know if Stolarz definitely made more acrobatic saves than Igor did. But I don't know if I'm leaving there saying like, wow, like the forwards and D really tested the goalies that much. Like they had to be, I don't know. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I think that that's fair. I felt like there was look. I will be honest with you. The Jays game is also on right now, and it started like
Yeah.
during the second period. They're playing the Mariners, and because we have to come on here and talk about this, I'm obviously paying attention to the Leafs way more. But this game for a lot of time just felt stale.
Like on the back burner. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was. How often did they talk about on the? I don't know how it was. I guess you're watching a different broadcast, but on TSN broadcast, Mike Johnson and Gordon Miller, they're talking about. Well, they haven't had much offensive zone time, and then it would be like the Rangers would get an offensive zone faceoff, and they'd be like, "Well, the Rangers haven't had much offensive zone time." And it was like both teams, like nobody's really sustained anything here. This is kind of just being a little bit in transition, get a perimeter shot, turn it over, go back the other way. Like nobody was really holding anything. So I agree with you for sure. It was just like up and down the ice, nothing really dangerous happening either way.
Did they show Anna falling on the TSN broadcast?
Yeah, they talked about it on the Sportsnet broadcast.
Oh my God. She sent me the video. I was crying. That's so funny. She said it was like right in front of the Rangers playing sewer. So all of them were like laughing at her when she fell.
I saw it. I saw the video of it come out, and then like the Leafs reporters were tweeting it out after, talking about how we're gonna be able to watch that one forever. I mean, yeah, that's a good one to have. Okay, let me ask you this, because you are a Rangers fan, so you're watching this a lot more closely than people, I would say, who are watching the post-game show here for Leafs Nation After Dark, at least right now. Rangers came in here, and I think one of the biggest topics was the fact that they can't score. I watched this one tonight. I think a lot of people from Leafs Nation are going to walk away saying that Anthony Stolarz played really well, which
he did.
He did. But how much of this is like bad luck? How much of this for the Rangers is getting goal leads? How much of it is just they can't produce? Like they can't capitalize, I guess maybe is a better way to put it, than produce, because they created some chances tonight.
I think one game is bad luck. What do they say? One's a fluke, two is a trend, three is a streak. That's when things are good. So what is that equivalent to when things are bad? Is it the same thing? Like is it just a bad streak? Like, I remember when I was playing, you were playing, I'm sure you had like a 3-game goal streak, or when you scored 2 games in a row, guys would say one's a fluke, two, like that. That's the line.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there the other night. The Rangers played a great game against Edmonton. They limited McDavid and Draisaitl. Those two were actually pretty quiet, in that game, respectively, for them. And I'm like, oh man, like they can't get a bounce. They had 2 crossbars. Sam Carrick gets robbed a couple times. And I'm like, all right, this is going to break at some point. But I'm watching tonight, and every shot they take, I'm sitting here to myself saying, that's not going in. And maybe, Connor Sherry talked about it on the MSG broadcast, so you guys don't get that. But he was saying maybe we are gripping our sticks a little too tight, like going into the third period. And you saw the tying goal. Like it hits off Juuso Parssinen. Like it's not like it's a clean shot that beats the goalie. But with that too, something I tweeted before that I thought was a good thing, but now rethinking and like having some people respond to me, maybe it's a bad thing. 2 games in a row, Mike Sullivan has the fourth line or so-called fourth line of Carrick, Rempe, and Edstrom on the ice because they're playing well, but maybe that's a bad thing. In a tie game, a 1-goal game, you have your fourth line out there in the last 3 minutes to try to get you one, or like, you need your big guys to be the ones on the ice that are going to be out there to score a big goal. And Mika Zibanejad, who I've said now time and time again in the first 5 games has been the Rangers' best forward, and in overtime, puck is on his stick for the chance to win it. He bobbles it, and Austin Matthews and Willie Nylander come down the other way and score. Like,
yeah,
at some point you can't really make the excuse of it's unlucky. Like they just got to find a way to get the results.
All right, I'm going to ask you to shift focus a little bit to the Leafs and what we've got with them, especially I guess more so big picture than specifically into this game tonight, because I'm going to have very similar takeaways as you did in terms of just like this game was a game that was played. Somebody won. Like it wasn't really like a dominant performance either way. The big boys do get on the board tonight. Matthew Knies scores. It's an assist from William Nylander. Regardless of how it gets done, it's Nylander who puts it in front, and it hits Knies and goes in. They record points on that one. And then you watch that play at the end. Austin Matthews finds a way to score. Nylander's the one who makes the play across, getting the pass to him. What do you kind of make of this Leafs team so far through the first 5 games of the season? The big boys kind of finding a way to make an impact on the game, and then just overall kind of makeup of this team that you've seen, especially considering the fact that they lost a 102-point player, and the big conversation all summer was, how do you replace that? And a lot of people in Toronto said you replace it by building a deeper team. Do you think they've done that? Like, where are you at with this Leafs team, the construction right now?
I definitely wouldn't say they've built a deeper team. I still think they're clearly missing some sort of playmaker, right? Like
Matias Maccelli's not the guy.
He's not. I mean, listen, I actually like Matias Maccelli, but like call Marner what you want come playoff time or whatever. But like the guy still makes shit happen. And Nylander can do that still. I actually think Tavares is a hell of a playmaker, probably an underrated playmaker just because the boots aren't really as quick. I don't know if I'd call Matthew Knies a playmaker, but he is a driving force, right? Like he'll get to the front of the net and he'll make stuff happen, but I don't know if he's necessarily like setting up opportunities for his line mates as much as he is the finisher. So I still think they're figuring themselves out offensively, but defensively, I think for the most part, you know, the Rangers obviously get a couple of great chances tonight, but Steve Valiquette actually also before the game on MSG said when Stolarz is healthy, he's a top 3 goalie in the league. I don't know if Vic told you that, but I texted that to Vic before, and he was bragging about it. Did you hear that?
Yeah. I've been told to ask you something. I'll let you finish, and then we can continue the conversation.
Did Vic actually just write Stolarz better than you were? Okay.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Is that what you're going to ask me? Is Stolarz better than you were?
No, I wasn't going to ask you that. I was going to ask you, would you agree that Stolarz is one of the, I don't know if top 3 goaltenders in the league, but I think that he's making a case for being one of the more elite goalies. I mean, Vic pointed out the stats over the last 2 seasons. 2 years ago, I think he led in goals against average. Last year leads in goals against average. Now sample size is a little bit smaller than some of the other
what's
guys,
he starting? 30-something games?
Still. Numbers are numbers, Laz. Numbers are numbers.
I mean, yeah, if you want to play that game, like, sure. But, no, I've said it on our show plenty of times. Like, if Stolarz doesn't get hurt in that Florida series, I think the result's different, right? Like,
yeah.
And that's no disrespect to Joseph Wall. I just think Stolarz was playing out of his mind last year in the playoffs, excuse me. And, again, huge guy. Like, what is he, 6'4"? How big is he?
Yeah, I think he's like something 6'4", 6'5", and then he's like 245 pounds or something like that.
And he moves well. Like that save he made on Lafreniere in the first period, that glove save on the power play, like, dude, that's a difficult save for any goalie to make, and Stolarz made it look pretty easy. Granted, I don't know if Lafreniere got there as quickly as he could, but I was really impressed with Stolarz all night. Like I thought he won them that game, and I've been saying that for 3 straight games about goalies: Charlie Lindgren, then Stuart Skinner, and now Stolarz. Like, I'm crediting the goalies, but I'm also at some point I gotta blame the Rangers for not being able to finish.
6'6", 245.
Oh, he's 6'6". Wow, he's that big. Holy shit. Yeah. That's a big boy.
Fucking huge, man. He's a huge man. Last question I'm going to ask you here, and then I'll let you go. I know you got things to do. You got wine to drink, all that stuff. So I appreciate
I watched the end of the Islanders and Oilers, too. 2-2 game in the third.
Oh, is it right now? I'm probably going to wrap this, and then I've got the 3 TVs going right now. So I know that that's not the setup you're working with at the current moment, but we've got Jays on one. We had Thursday Night Football, Leafs on one. There's a lot of shit going on at this place right now. But I want to know your thoughts on the on that goal that the Rangers scored to tie it up, because Vic texted right away. He texted me and he texted the group. Wasn't too happy with the fact that there was a little bump, let's say, in front of the net. Radish, I think, kind of pulls the stick out of Stolarz' hands. Did you make anything of that interaction? Did you think that the Leafs might have had a case to be able to challenge that one there? Like, what were your thoughts on that? Is that just it's a play, part of the game, you keep it moving?
I actually thought they should have challenged it. But again, like, it's a tough spot, right? You're in the third period. If you lose that challenge, then it's a 1-1 game and you're shorthanded. So it's a tough position to be in as a coach, I think, especially knowing that the Rangers have had a hard time scoring. I think you trust your team to finish the game somehow. But I do think Stolarz had enough time to recover. Like, he did get set for the shot. So that's why I was like, maybe it's not the best time to challenge, because it's not like he couldn't see the puck or couldn't track the puck or couldn't get in position. Had that puck gone in maybe like a second and a half before, the Islanders just scored a second and a half before, different case. But I think that one could have gone either way for me as a Ranger fan. Like, if they called it off, I would have been like, shit. Like, Radish does take the stick out, because the stick is part of their equipment. Like, I don't know did he go directly through the blue paint? Like, Jeff's rule, right?
Yeah, if you're in the blue, that's on you. Yeah, he was in the blue paint. I think part of it was a battle that was taking place net front. Both guys trying to establish position, but he was for sure in the blue paint at the time that he made contact with Stolarz.
Yeah.
So the thing that was more so to me was not even as much that, because I do think that there was an element of they're both like pushing each other around trying to get position. It was more so like the stick seemingly ending up under Radish's arm that I was like, all right, we might have had something here, but I don't know. I also agree with you. I think it was the right decision to not challenge that one and just keep it moving, but ends up working out. Matthews on the board. Nylander leads the team here now. I think he's got 7 assists, 9 assists, something like that. Wow. So the big boys are working. Seems like it's all good.
Must be nice, huh?
No problem. The guys seem to find the back of the net here, unlike the New York Rangers, Laz. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Right.
And Aaron hasn't scored a goal in 6 games.
And he can't keep the puck into the blue line on the power play.
No,
let me go, please. 3 separate times, Laz. 3 separate times the puck bounced past him at the blue line. Yeah. And I thought of you right away. I'm like, wow. All right, Laz, I appreciate you taking the time to do this. Thank you. As always, you enjoy your night, enjoy your wine, enjoy the hockey.
Thanks, Zach. Since I don't care about baseball, go Jays.
I think they're up 5-1 right now.
Nice.
So let's go.
Stuff. All right, thanks, Zach.
Thanks, Laz. Appreciate it. See ya. There you go. There's Jonny Lazarus helping us break this one down here. NHL analyst, part of Daily Faceoff, Morning Cup of Hockey, Monday to Thursday. That's right. Producer Vic does get Fridays off because Laz takes it off, keeps it moving, and just, I guess he needs a little bit of a break one day of the week because he's working all the rest. But we'll continue to break down tonight's game. If you are watching right now, hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel, Leafs Nation 401, right here on YouTube. As well, you can find us on podcast platforms, TLN After Dark, wherever you find your podcast. So make sure to check us out there. We are trying to get those podcast numbers up. Give your thoughts in the chat about this game tonight. I want to know where you guys are at as well. Make sure to get those super chats in. If you do have a question or comment, you want it read on the show. Proceeds from our super chats do go to Sick Kids Charity. So send those in. I will answer, comment, read every single one that comes through the show here tonight. I want to make sure that you guys are a part of the show here as well. Another reminder, you hit that like button. We do the smelling salts on the show. So like the stream, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we will give our thoughts on your super chats and do smelling salts. Yeah, Vic, Friday's off. First super chat of the night. Tammy, Shesterkin was great, but Stolarz committed grand Stolarzany. That's a good one, Stolarzany. I like that. A handful of times and won the goalie duel. Awesome win for him tonight. Hashtag Stoli squad. Stolarz was awesome tonight. Stats as well for Anthony Stolarz. You look at the end of the game here. Anthony Stolarz finishes 28 saves on 29 shots, a 966 save percentage. It's not just the amount of saves, it was the quality of saves. I mean, you think about the opportunities that the Rangers had. There was a couple on the power play that took place where he's either making stops from right on top of the blue paint or at the back door. There was the one on Will Cooley where he basically made the save point blank in the slot. It bounces over to Will Cooley off to the side after the fact. There was like a little tip pass that ends up on Cooley's stick, and it's Anthony Stolarz falling backwards. He makes the glove save on him. You look at the one that is a pass across. I think it was from Zibanejad. He's streaking down the side. Looking shot, kind of looking off, makes the pass across, ends up getting kind of a tap-in opportunity for Will Cooley, and it's Stolarz who meets him across the ice. There were a few others that were just deflections or bouncing pucks where he looked sharp, he looked athletic, he moves real well getting across the ice. I thought Anthony Stolarz looked really good tonight. I thought he made some really big saves, some really important saves there as well, in some really timely moments. There was a couple of times where the Leafs were sluggish or they had given up a good opportunity, and it's him who's there to save it. You know, I look at the first period as well. That first power play that the Leafs had, I think it was 3.5 minutes in, 4 minutes in maybe. The first unit goes out, and it wasn't like they gave up a breakaway or a 2-on-1, but they did give up a couple opportunities to the Rangers while the Leafs were up on a power play. And you think back to how this season had started when you're talking about power play opportunity after power play opportunity and an inability to capitalize for the Maple Leafs. And yet you look at the other way and we're like, we've not yet scored a power play goal, and then next thing you know, it's penalty kill for the other team. They're scoring shorthanded goals. I've talked about it a lot, how the power play sometimes just gives up momentum to the other team, you know, because there's no intensity, there's no urgency, they're not buzzing around, and then all of a sudden it's back the other way after the penalty's up, and 5-on-5, the other team's buzzing because they've been blocking shots or they've killed off the 2 minutes. They've got a couple of chances themselves. They've got it down into the Leaf zone and killed 30 seconds off down there. Everybody's banging the boards, and now the other team's ripping around at 5-on-5 because they've got life under them, where you watch this Leafs team have no intensity, no energy for 2 minutes. Now the other team does. And then we watch these guys go out there, and so often they're giving momentum. Sometimes they're now giving the other team goals. And Anthony Stolarz there in the first period, that first power play first power play that the Leafs had, the Rangers are shorthanded. They come down, creating opportunities. Anthony Stolarz is there to find a way to make some big saves, big timely saves. 5-1 Jays, top of the fifth, for anybody who cares or is interested in that. Deserve to win a meter. I will save for the end of the show, but just taking a look at Money Puck here. I mean, the expected goals for tonight, which it's not everything, but it does kind of tell you some of the saves and everything that were made. All situations, 2.36 for the New York Rangers. This is when expected goals is a interesting stat, because Will Cooley has 0.36 expected goals, and he was robbed backdoor basically on empty nets twice. But okay. Anyways, I thought that Anthony Stolarz was unbelievable tonight. Was basically more or less the reason that the Leafs were able to get this win here in this one. All right, let's get to our stat of the day. For a stat of the day, I'm kind of going to do more or less a box score rundown, I think is the best way for us to do it on the post-game show. I think ripping through and seeing kind of who stood out, what numbers are jumping off the page, where guys were at with shots, and just kind of recapping and updating that, which doesn't mean everything, obviously, but I think doing that, kind of just doing a basic rundown, it kind of gives us a little bit of a basis of where we were at with what we saw eye test wise. And, we can look at some of the analytics, the expected goals, all that kind of stuff, the advanced numbers, and then you just compare them to what the box scores were and what we saw. I think it can kind of balance us out a little bit. So I think that that's a fair way for us to approach this going forward. So and unless you have a different idea or you don't like it, let me know in the chat. I'm fine to change things up, but I kind of feel like that's it's a good way to round out the show. I'm reading the chat right now. There's a lot of talk about Morgan Rielly, so I'll get to that in a little bit. But before we do, stat of the day is a presentation of Uber Eats. Uber Eats is enabling fans to maximize their fandom all season long with exclusive game day deals on the app. From game day eats to paper plates and napkins if you're hosting, to all the ingredients you need to make your favorite game day dip. Every time the Leafs are playing at home, you can get these exclusive deals in Toronto only on Uber Eats. Firehouse Subs, a BOGO brisket hat trick, a Kibo Sushi, a BOGO California roll, Shelby Shawarma, a BOGO traditional wrap. BOGO, that is buy one, get one. Before, during, and after the game, Uber Eats is assisting every fan's hockey experience all season long. Getting to what we have for stat of the day, as I kind of mentioned, we'll rip through some box score and see where we're at on some of the stats. I mean, some of the ones that jump out to me, Easton Cowan's time on ice tonight reduced down to 11:47. That was at around 14 minutes the other night. I think part of it is you're in a tighter game. You're playing the Rangers. You want to give yourself an opportunity to go up 3-2 on the season. And knowing that it's been a struggle to generate some offensively tonight, especially with Igor Shesterkin back there, where maybe against a goalie who's, I'd say maybe not as elite is the best way to put it. If it's somebody who's a little bit below what Shesterkin has to offer, some of those chances that you had might be beating him, but when it is Shesterkin, you've got to kind of attack it a little bit differently, maybe get a little bit more of a prime opportunity than just your everyday run-of-the-mill shot that comes from nowhere and some rebound that's going to sit there for somebody to be able to bang in. So they're looking for a little bit more offensive threat, offensive firepower out there. So they're throwing out William Nylander in offensive zone situations, which takes away from Cowan's minutes. I also think part of it was some of the penalties that were taken. You watch, especially in the first period where it's back and forth. He's not on the first power play unit. He's not on the penalty kill unit. And you're watching either team going to the box over and over again. Now, it did chill out for the rest of the game, but that first period especially, you're probably losing a lot of possible or potential minutes from Easton Cowan of what he could have been playing. And then as you watch it go on where you're up 1-0 and leading, and then you're tied 1-1 in the third period, you're probably looking and saying, hey, William Nylander, we'd rather have you out there anyways. Easton Cowan is a kid playing in his third NHL game ever. So, yeah, putting William Nylander out there over him is not a surprise to me. I do wish or do hope that he's able to continue to get more minutes and get more opportunities. I do think he looks pretty good on that first line. I do think he's starting to look more comfortable at the NHL level, but as Carl DeCunha points out in the chat, Cowan is a kid. He's learning. Matthews, Marner, Nylander, if you remember back to the years that they were here at first, it was a different coach. It was a very different mindset. They didn't get all those opportunities. How often were we watching them late game and we're sitting there saying, why isn't Matthews, Marner, Nylander playing late in this game, trying to make a push, down one, whatever it was? Well, they're learning how to play defensively. They're learning how to play an all-around game. They're learning the speed of things. All that kind of stuff factors into why they may or may not be getting ice time at that point. And I don't think it's a problem that Easton Cowan, in a tight one here at home, defending a lead by one and then tied through the remainder of the third period, isn't getting as much ice time. It's not like Craig Berube completely benched him and said you can't go out there anymore. His ice time was just reduced. It was just diminished. It is what it is. So he goes to 11:47 here tonight. He does finish with 2 shots on goal. The one that we saw was the pass across the ice from Knies. Walks in, kind of shoots it from far. It's just not from afar. They said, I believe it was 76 miles per hour, which that's got to be stronger, harder, faster at the NHL level. It does. If you want to beat goaltenders like that, it just does. We saw Mitch for 9 years of his career shoot the puck like that, and it's not like he had success from shooting it out far. It did get stronger, did get faster. I imagine Easton Cowens is as well. Moving on here. One thing that sticks out to me as we go through the stat of the day, Max Domi, 4 shots on goal. Now, it's not like Max Domi has been the best player for the Maple Leafs, but I think he's been pretty good. I think he's been pretty reliable. I think he's been feisty. And the biggest thing for me, as I mentioned a couple of games ago when he did score, I believe it was against Detroit, was he's developing or adopting at least a pass-first mentality. You're seeing a lot of times he's walking in and he's taking shots that I think he normally wouldn't have. I imagine that's an influence of Craig Berube, probably his teammates saying, dude, we trust you, we like you, we believe in you, you're good enough to do this, shoot the puck. And if he can do that, he keeps goaltenders honest. He also helps out his line mates by that, because if you can shoot the puck like that and make defense and goaltenders have to play you more honestly, it opens up lanes for other people, because they're not just looking at you going, this guy won't shoot it. We can give him all the opportunities in the world. He's never going to shoot it. 4 shots on goal for Max Domi at least means he's adopting the mindset of, I got to shoot the puck. I got to put pucks on net. I got to create opportunities for myself and for my teammates, because then other things will come. And I think that third line is benefiting from it. They weren't the most dominant line on the ice for me tonight. They weren't a line that I walked away from and was like, holy shit, these guys are unbelievable. But with that, I felt like they had some dangerous moments. I thought they moved up and down the ice pretty quickly. I don't think that they were defensively liable, where I stood there pulling my hair out watching the game. And I thought they moved up the ice in transition pretty well and got some decent opportunities. Matthew Knies, also 4 shots on goal. Another goal for him here, regardless of how it went in, regardless of the luck factor. I don't care. A goal's a goal. Also plays 20 minutes of ice time. Like, this kid is just a horse. You lose Mitch Marner, you bring up Matthew Knies, and I think, look, this might be a bold take, but I'm willing to do this early, and I guess at this point it could be detrimental to myself doing this at this point in the season. I think bigger picture, you're much better with Matthew Knies being your number 3 guy than Mitch Marner. And I know that there's going to be pushback of people being like, well, you could have found a way to do it with Mitch Marner and Matthew Knies and had 4. My counterpoint to that is that the nucleus of this team is now Matthew Knies, Austin Matthews, and William Nylander, and you are cutting out extra fat getting to the line of a guy who goes balls to the wall every time. He's more perimeter and on the outside looking in of the group of big boys, if there's the 4 of them, where it's always going to be Matthews, Nylander, Marner, and then Knies is that extra guy tagging along. Whereas if Marner's gone, Knies is immediately promoted into that. He's immediately looked at like that by the guys in the room, by the coaching staff, by the fan base, by the social media team who's pumping him out and who's sending him to the NHL media tour, where he becomes much more of a face of all of this, where I think if Marner is still here, then he's just pushed down the line. And no matter what his personality is, no matter what type of guy he is or how he is in the locker room or the style of play he has, he's never going to be able to be as impactful as he is right now if Marner was still here, because he would always just be the fourth voice rather than right now being one of the three big guys, one of the three heads on the three-headed monster. It's Matthews, Nylander, and Knies. Those are the three guys we're going to look at as the big boys of this Maple Leafs team now, instead of the core four. And even on top of that, it ended up being kind of what was the five when you had JT, Marner, Matthews, Nylander, and Knies. It's Matthews, Nylander, and Knies. And I think cutting him into that and cutting out that extra piece makes the identity of the team a little bit tighter and a little bit more versatile, where it's like, okay, you can look at it and say, Matthews is this kind of player, 200-foot, centerman, can kill penalties on your first penalty kill, first power play. He's the guy you want out there at the end of the game. William Nylander, playmaker, speed, takeover ability, goal scorer. And then you look at Matthew Knies, who's the third piece of the cog. Each one of them brings something different. Whereas before, when it was Marner and not Knies, all three of them were very close to being kind of just the same player, carbon copied over from one to the next to the next. Now you've got some versatility, and now it's just a different outlook. It's a different feel. It's a different vibe that you get from these guys. So Matthew Knies stepping up and being given these responsibilities, being leaned on by Craig Berube like this, being leaned on by the guys in the room, I think is going to be better for this team in the long run than anything else. Even watch Easton Cowan, who comes in here, who's got that FU, as Alberga said the other day. He's got the jam to his game. He steps up and he plays physical, and he's never going to blow guys up. He's never going to run through guys. Even, he finishes with one hit here tonight, but I watch a guy who's not afraid to go to dirty areas. He's not afraid to crash the net. And I think having Knies be one of your core pieces is going to allow Easton Cowan to develop that way more so than being a softer, skilled player, of which you probably could have ended up going down that path if he's following the three big boys that you had here before, who are all very much cut from the same cloth. So Matthew Knies kind of just changes what you end up getting out of this group and how the overall outlook is. Quick update here for people as well, as we're on stat of the day. 5-1 for the Blue Jays, top of the sixth, one out, a guy on second base right now. Thank you from the cave for letting me know that the chat was frozen on the screen. It's not something I'm always keeping an eye on that quickly, but regardless, we got it figured out. So thank you. It should be up to date here now. What else do we have for stats? Just quick notes before we wrap up this segment and then keep the show moving tonight. Matias Maccelli finishes with an all-time stat sheet lineup that is something for the record books. 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 plus minus, 0 shots, 0 block shots, 0 penalties, 0 penalties taken, 0 penalty minutes, 0 hits, 0 takeaways, 0 giveaways, 0 shorthanded time on ice, 0 faceoffs, 0 faceoffs lost. Now, obviously, he's not a center, so those last ones I just threw in there for the sake of having zeros on the board, but the only player on the Maple Leafs tonight to have zeros all the way across. Like, even Nick Waugh, who had zeros everywhere else, had 2 hits. But zeros everywhere else for Matias Maccelli. The one thing that I will say about Maccelli, which I think a lot of people would agree with here, you could tell he's got some elite playmaking ability. He makes some dumb decisions sometimes. He makes some real dumb decisions. The one that he made ends up being the one, I believe it was the one that ends up knocking Stolar's helmet off there. But it's like, you just watch him. Look, he's Mitch Marner light. Like, not as skilled, but you watch those plays where he makes nice passes. He's got some good speed. He's got good hands. And then all of a sudden, he comes back in front of the net and throws a muffin to somebody on the Rangers right in his own slot. That's discount Mitch Marner. It's what we experience here. Except the difference is that he's not making $10.93 million and demanding to be the face of the billboards in the city. He's a guy fighting for a spot in the top 6. So, we got another super chat here. This one comes in from Michael. Michael, thank you for the super chat. Michael says, I won't change my mind. This team is a wild card team at best. Just hope they squeeze in. Mitch is leaving. Is okay. However, can't have no replacement. Michael, I disagree with you. I think they're better than a wild card team. I also think that you look at Buffalo, not good. The Senators, I don't think they got better. They're struggling here already. Linus Ullmark is having some issues. And then on top of that, Brady Tkachuk is going to miss 6 to 8 weeks, which they're going to have to battle through. So then you consider that. I don't think the Red Wings got drastically better. I don't know. The Bruins is a team that I feel like could sneak up there, but Swayman playing better. They still have McAvoy. They still have Pasternak. And then, I look at Florida. Barkov out for the season. Tkachuk probably coming back late January, February. Kulikov's out for, I think it was 5 months. Like, they're still going to make the playoffs, but there's going to be a drop-off. I think that we're still looking at a team that's going to be okay. Not in a wild card spot, as Michael suggests. I think they'll be better off than that. Hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel, Leaf Station 401 right here on YouTube as well. Make sure to check us out on podcasting platforms after the fact. If you want to listen to podcasts, if you want to hear back what the show was, if in the future you ever want to see, if you ever miss one and you can't watch it and you want to listen to your car, that's a way to go about it there as well. Thank you for the super chats. Keep getting those in. At 50 likes, we will do the smelling salts. But until then, let's get to our best bet. And our best bet is a presentation of Bet365. Thank you to our friends at Bet365 yet again. And unfortunately for them, I can't imagine they're going to be very happy with us here. But whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. Use the code NATION, Bet365. You must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. Best bet for tonight ends up cashing yet again. This time, it's Matthew Knies, anytime goal, plus 240 here against the Rangers. We got that one out of the way early. Matthew Knies, anytime goal, half unit, $50 on that one at plus 240, profits us $120. That would bring us to a 4-3 record on the season, up $243, 2.43 units. 2.43 units up on the season through here now, 5 games and 7 best bets. With that, we also have another super chat that comes in the form of a bet. And this one comes in from Michael. Michael says, Zach, offer you a bet If they are not a wild card team, I send $500 super chat to you. If they are, you put all their smelling salts in water and drink it. Michael, not happening, brother. I appreciate the super chat, but not happening. I'm not putting smelling salts in water and drinking them. That is a no. But they will not be a wild card team. They're going to make it A-okay. I think this team is a better team. I think they're just a better team. They didn't add more talent. They didn't add more skill. But I think they got deeper. I think they got more well-rounded. You look at the bottom six. I mean, obviously here tonight it's Knies, it's Matthews. Nylander getting 2 points here as well. So it's the big boys that are producing, which sometimes you just need. But you look at the bottom six on some of the other nights, even leading into the game against Nashville, it was the bottom six who was outscoring the top six, which is not something that we would be having that conversation at all, where it would be even close, even to open a season, where the bottom six was always far behind in scoring. They're bigger, they're heavier, stronger in the bottom six. I think they're going to get this figured out. The only concern I would have would be the speed throughout the course of a regular season and 82 games. I don't know how well that's going to translate, but I do strongly believe that it's going to be really effective come playoff time. I think that they're going to be able to use that to their advantage. I think once these guys start building chemistry here, it will be something that they can use in the playoffs, right? 82-game regular season is a long time, so we'll see what the hell happens until then. But I still also feel like True Living's not done. Feel like he's going to add pieces. I think he's still looking. I think he's calling on people. We saw reports today. It looks like it's potentially going to be Brad True Living going to be going out there and trying to take some big swings. Like, I just feel like these guys this is not the final product. I think even when Scott Laughton comes back, we're going to be looking at an even better team. And then even just imagine Easton Cowan with 10 games under his belt when he starts getting more comfortable, more confident, and understanding and adapting to the pace of the league and all that kind of stuff a little bit better. I don't think they're a wild card team. I think they'll be above that. Donnie does dishes. When has a slow, old team won the cup? Now, I don't necessarily think this Leafs team is like old. They are older for sure, but I don't think you can necessarily pin them as being an old team. Like, they're not like some mid to late 30s all the way through the lineup, and you're banking on this group of wily veterans being able to figure it out and get it done. Mind you, yes, you've got some guys here like OEL, Tanev, McCabe, Tavares, who are on the older side of things. I will concede with that, but slower teams, the Florida Panthers are not a fast team. They are a big, heavy team. The Dallas Stars are not necessarily a fast team. I don't think the Colorado Avalanche are one of the fastest teams. I think they probably have two of the best skaters, maybe two of the fastest players. But I think the whole team, top to bottom, is not like the fastest teams. They're big, they're heavy. You can't be the slowest team in the world, I'll give you that. But I don't think you have to be the fastest team, which I think is what a lot of people are looking for. And again, my pushback on this is all going to be, and coming back to, we spent a long time watching this team be built fast and skilled. And now all of a sudden, and that didn't work for 9 years. We watched this team be built fast and skilled for 9 years. And all of a sudden, things are built a little bit differently, where we've gone bigger, heavier, more physical, and slower. For sure, slower. And now everyone's saying you can't win this way. That'll never work. This will never happen. Well, we tried the other way and it didn't work. You for sure can't be the slowest team in the league. I'll concede on that. Maybe as they get their legs under them, it starts to figure itself out and they pick it up, and maybe they're a team that needs to warm themselves up into the season, and by the time we get to Christmas, they'll be a little bit faster. I also think the tempo to this point has gotten a little bit better. Not great, but better. We can't have it, this fast, skilled team, and then complain that they're fast and skilled and it doesn't work. And then when you go and build it the other way and they're bigger and heavier, complain that they're big and heavy. Can't have both ways. Can't have both ways. I get that they're slower, but fast didn't work. Try bigger. Try slower. Try heavier, I guess. Find a middle ground, goddammit. Okay. Let's get on to our next segment. Let's go on to our play of the game. Our play of the game for tonight, and then we'll get to our grade of the game. Play of the game. I think it's going to have to be that early save. I think it was early in the second period. The Rangers power play. Stolarz falling backwards, makes a save at the net. Grabs that one from Will Cooley falling back. At that point, it would have tied the game. I kind of feel like that would have sparked the Rangers. I know that they did tie it up later in the third period, and you'd think that would give them the life that they needed, or you could argue that that would have given them the life that they needed, but I feel like if that goal would have come in like the second period, there would have been a little juice injected in them where it's like, oh shit, we can score. Stolarz making that save, making the one where he's coming across in the post, or that was in the first period, on Cooley, making the one where he's coming across in the post in the second period on Cooley, backdoor from Zibanejad. That's another huge save. Like, Stoli just deserves the player of the game tonight, but I think in particular it's going to be that save for me. Honorable mention is going to be him making the save without his mask. It gets knocked off. They allow the play to continue, and it's not just making the save without the mask, it's making the save without the mask, without flinching or second-guessing himself. Like, he just continues to follow the puck, continues to follow the play, doesn't flinch, nothing, gets across, makes a save. Anthony Stolarz was an absolute weapon. A weapon here tonight. The guy was unreal. All right. Now let's get to our grade of the game, and let's wrap this thing up, see where you guys are at. That'll do it for the segments here tonight, and then everyone can go back and enjoy the Jays game. Bottom of the sixth here right now, 5-1 Jays, 1 on, 2 out. See a lot of people talking about Stolarz. I'm guessing he got pulled from the game. Grade of the game for me here tonight is going to be, I think, a B+. You get your first power play goal of the season. First power play goal of the season. I thought that coming out of that Nashville game, we were starting to see Matthews get himself back to the form. I feel like Nylander was kind of getting his legs under him there. You know, it took a bit of a kick in the ass for him to find it and do so. But the big boys getting going and being the ones to produce in a game like this, despite scoring only 2 goals, I mean, it's not like they blew them out here and they were all over it. Matthews has a goal. He's got 2 shots on net. Knies ends up with 4 shots on net. He's got a goal himself. Nylander has 2 assists. Like, those are your 3 big dogs. Those are your 3 big dogs. They're the ones who win this game against the New York Rangers tonight on a night where Igor Shesterkin puts up a .917 save percentage. He makes 22 saves on 24 shots. Even at that, I thought that some of the ones that he had to make were really good. I think a lot of them were just kind of nothing, but some of them were some bigger, more important saves. And I thought that the big boys for Toronto stepped up. Like, I'm not going to pretend like they dominated for 60 minutes tonight, but they stepped up when they needed to. And for that, I can appreciate it. You're now looking at them leading the team in scoring. We talked about, and it's been a conversation all summer, what happens when Mitch Marner's not here? How do you replace 102 points? How do you get through that? Well, it's Nylander leading the team in points. It's Matthews continuing to get on the board, empty net or not. You look at last year, he scored 35 goals. He struggled to score. Even those empty netters weren't coming to him. The fact that he's getting there this year and he's at least putting those in, scoring OT winners, having it be William Nylander be the guy to feed him and not Mitch Marner, like, they are filling those roles. It's not going to be the prettiest. I don't think it's all going to come as once. It's a massive change to the group, to the identity, to the makeup, all of it. But they're finding a way for each person to fulfill a little bit more of a role and to be a bigger part of this team than I think anybody else was before, where now everyone's going to kind of step up and rise to the occasion. Everyone else is going to be relied upon a little bit more. I kind of like that. And I think that as we continue to progress with these guys, we'll see more of a cohesive unit than we've ever seen with this group. And I'm glad that the big boys are stepping up when it matters. As we saw in the Nashville game, they stepped up and they contributed. Watching this game here tonight, it's them who are the ones who are getting the points, scoring the goals in this game, the OT winner. For that, I can be happy. Final super chat here. Also part of that grade, Anthony Stolarz, who was out of his mind. 966 save percentage. Lets in 1 goal on 29 shots. I thought he was amazing. Final super chat of the night. Final super chat comes in again from Michael. Thank you, Michael, for the super chat. Zach, I followed you for several years. It's a shame you never take my comments seriously. Guaranteed it's a wild card team at best, mate. Michael, respectfully, we've done this before. We've done this song and dance. You've lost bets numerous times that you have made here on the show. I do appreciate the comments. I do respect them. I do take what you say seriously, but I disagree. And I don't think that they're a wild card team. That's reality. And it's not like you got a 100% track record here, brother. You've lost before. All right, that's going to do it here for the post-game show. I appreciate everyone who watched, liked, subscribed. Thanks to Jonny Lazarus for stopping by here. I'm going to let everyone get out of here and go to the Jays. Go watch the Jays game right now. So thank you guys all for watching. Thank you for participating. Thanks for the super chats. Nick Alberga, not Jay Rosehill. He's off. He's in Italy. It'll be Nick Alberga and I think David Pagnotta tomorrow on Leafs Morning Take at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. They're back for that. I'll be back for Saturday night's game preview earlier in the day, and then the After Dark show following the final buzzer right here on the Leafs Nation 401 YouTube channel. Thank you so much to everybody who watched tonight. Thanks for liking, subscribing, super chats, all of that stuff. Leafs win this one, Game 5 of the season, 2-1 over the New York Rangers in overtime, moving to 3-2 on the season. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos, make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.